will see a system that would completely collapse. Eric Angel Kabornu is former president for Nagrat now. You are now former. Eh?
No, I'm former.
Eh. So after you are president, is there no other position you could have contested for, like the maybe board? You don't have board?
No.
No governing council?
No.
So that's the end.
That's the end.
Are you teaching?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Maybe I can aspire to the high office of a Radio Gold host.
Morning show, no. Morning show, I'll be host to an answer mid-morning and Nadia.
This is a high position, you know. So it is higher than Nagrat president. So maybe I can aspire for that.
Okay.
And information reaching me to indicate that the pay is very, very good.
Oh, then I will actually encourage you to aspire to it. Anyway, but it's nice to speak to you this one. I know you've been, especially when it comes to secondary education, you've been in there for so long. The things that we discuss consistently, we see these videos on social media of vandalism, students engage in open fights. The recent one is attracting a lot of public attention. CID has got involved. GES is having conversations on it. Are those things that surprise you in any way?
Well, to me, looking at historical events or past events, I'm not surprised because I knew we're going to get here, and if we are not careful, we'll get to a worst point that will baffle everybody in this country. It doesn't surprise me at all.
A worst point?
Yes.
A point worse than this?
Absolutely. So bad a point that parents will be thinking twice in sending their kids to senior high school because they don't know what the outcome will be by way of their personal health and safety.
I see. Why do you say so? What is happening on the campuses currently that would allow that to happen?
You see, let us try to look at the genesis of the problem so as to appreciate why we've gotten to where we are. When you import alien disciplinary structures, that is not coterminous with your environment, the realities of your environment. When your youth is daily bombarded with alien cultures or aspects of alien cultures, you get what you have. Look, as we speak today, a lot of children in senior high school are dead because the system is such that everybody should go to school. I don't have a problem when we have a system where everybody goes to school. But with the current system, where regardless of whatever grade you have, you can get aggregate 60. The system posts you to school anyway. When you and I were in school, there is a certain cut-off point where certain people were not going to senior high school. They were not exempted from going to school, but then there was a cut-off, so those people found themselves in other areas. A headmaster told me, and the school is in Accra, that there are students who these days they come to school, they are registered from Form 1. They have not attended classes, they don't write examination, and they are able to go through Form 1, Form 2 to Form 3. And then you will have to register them to go and write the WASI exams. Right. So you have a laissez-faire free environment where the students' control is highly compromised. What I do know is that when students are going for Ntrako, they are supposed to be accompanied by their teachers. Where the students are, their teachers should be. Some disciplined schools do not even allow everybody in the school to go for Ntrako. Students are selected to go and support the athletes. So every student will have the desire to go to control and curtail some of these exercises. Students are selected. So some students, students don't even go on rotational basis if the thing takes more than a day. The other aspect that we need to look at is the loss, the total loss of control or the lack of parental control at homes. And we all know the environment we find ourselves, the survival quest of every parent. So that control of children at home, the discipline that a child should get at home. And don't forget that this child is from class 1 to JSS 3 before he or she comes to senior high school. So he or she have formed their characters in their local environment long before they come to senior high school. And so you have a situation where before the child comes to senior high school, the local environment is already raised him. Our time, you go to class 1 to class 6, you have not formed any character. It is the school that forms your character for you. But the reverse is the situation as we find today. So they come to school and they have not been raised the way they should go by their parents, because the parents that themselves hardly stay at home. So characters, behaviors have already been formed, and they get to school and then this attempt to be modern, this attempt to be European, where certain corporal disciplinary measures that used to be in the schools have been taken away from the teachers and the management of the schools, so that the children will not be psychologically destroyed. So now when you were in school, they're caning the kid, have you been psychologically destroyed? But they said that when you cane the children, or when you give the children certain punishment, they will be psychologically traumatized. And when I hear those nonsenses being spoken by people, the blood in me begins to boil. But that is the situation. So as teachers, you have been incapacitated to even discipline the students, and the students do whatever they like in the school. So they also take this type of misbehavior outside the school compound, forgetting that their behavior is supposed to protect the image of the school. And then they go and misbehave like this. Look at the gentleman. How can you, a senior high school student, attack your colleague student in another school in this manner by way of jumping to kill him? And yet you will tell me that that child needs education, therefore we should keep that hooligan in school. What kind of thing? And when I listened to the young man's interview yesterday, he said he was looking for a place so that he can apply his eye drops on his eyes. So that is why he went and sat there. All of a sudden, the stones were being thrown. Then the attack happened. I mean, how on earth? The boy is not a thief just because the boy comes from a different school and there is a fight. So that you have to attack. And again, some time ago, all those students who were engaged in that thing would be dismissed without blinking an eye. They are not fit to be among their colleague students in the secondary school. But try dismissing them, and you will see some people coming around making certain statements that you don't even know where it's coming from. We are getting to the point where students may be bringing guns to school and will be attacking their colleagues and attacking their teachers. It is as if it has not started already. You saw that student in a school in Ashanti region taking his father's gun, coming to shoot his class, destroying the eye of a colleague, a female colleague student. So the situation is getting very troubling, and please, I will plead with the Ghana Education Service. Give ultimate authority to the managers of the school. Give them the power to dismiss without recourse to higher authority. And give them the behaviors that when students engage themselves in, those students will be dismissed. Students who are underperforming, give the schools the right and authority to repeat them. The wholesale promotion culture is not helping anybody. So when somebody comes to Form 1, you perform below the threshold, give the school the right to dismiss, to repeat. When the student again performs under that threshold, the school should have the right to withdraw the student from the school, so that they sit with the parents and find the student another area of endeavor that will be suitable to his capabilities to learn or to learn other trade or other skills. And so that the authorities of the school will ensure absolute discipline. A few bad nuts cannot be allowed to destroy a mass majority of students who have the interest and are eager to learn. That is exactly what is happening now. And we have something we call the mirror effect. Once these things begin to happen in the school, it begins to influence larger number of students to misbehave in such a manner. So I think that ultimate authority to take absolute decisions should be given back to the management and teachers of the school to run the schools according to rules. And if a student goes beyond the threshold, that student should be withdrawn from the school and sent home. That would be a first step in finding solution to these problems.
And I wonder what authority heads of schools currently have, because I recall there's a concept which I think is a slang sort of what that we used to call deboardingization, where they can kick someone who was in the boarding house out of the boarding house, force the person into day education because of indiscipline. You can be suspended. You can subsequently be dismissed, among others. Are you saying the school authorities no longer have
to implement these disciplinary measures you have mentioned? The school head will now have to run to the district director or the regional director. Yes, it's not like your time. You have to go and tell that this boy have done. Then the regional director says, okay, hold on. Let me contact this team. Oh, by the time you come, the story become moot.
I see. They have to seek permission, or they have to justify.
Yes, you have to go justify why you should take this action. Then they'll be talking about the nonsense of child rights to you, the legal implications, and the school beginning. By the time you come, you even be embarrassed.
I see. So what are school authorities allowed to do in enforcing discipline?
Well, that is it. You see, yeah, we have internal discipline you can enforce on issue, but issues such as dismissal and things, you have to seek permission from higher authority. Other than that, your position itself will be at stake.
And you think that the authority to decide for dismissal, to perhaps suspension, among others, should be returned to the schools?
Yeah, because you see, we have school disciplinary committees. The school disciplinary committee is made up of teachers and members of management of schools, and they sit on cases. You see, it is not a situation where the headmaster or headmistress just wakes up and decides to take these disciplinary measures. No, the school disciplinary committee sits on the cases and refers to management or headmaster or headmistress the disciplinary or punishment that ought to be taken. So when a committee sits on a kid and suggests punishment, people should not think that it is just one man who sat in his room or one woman who sat in her room and decided that he is going to punish students. You see, there should be that fear of sanction in the students to avert or to prevent them from engaging in some of this misbehavior. Because we all come from different backgrounds and different homes, and there should be a reason why I should behave, or else I lose my position in the school as a student. There should be a reason why. And I know that this school, the authorities are that strict and that there are certain things I cannot do. Look, I mean, now I'm so scared that I've never sent any of my children to a big school. All my children went to single sex school because the control now is so weak. Me myself, for me, I don't even believe in this mixed school concept. I don't know whether because I'm a Catholic, I've never believed in this mixed school concept. I didn't attend it through from my form 1 to my 6th form. I didn't attend mixed school. My children, I made sure they didn't go to big schools, because in a mixed school without control, and that age where you don't even have your thinking cap on, can you imagine what is happening? In our time, there was control. In our time, when you are found to engage in sexual intercourse with your colleague student, you are dismissed. You think that is what is going on now? Look at the videos some of these our boys and girls are putting on social media. Videos taken in their dormitories, in their school uniform, and the type of words, the type of things that they are saying. It tells us these are people who know what they are talking about. Right? So, what type of schools are we creating? What type of den of indiscipline are we sending our children? And then again, the overpopulated environment. You see, Sarah, let me tell you something. We have enough senior high schools in this country to accommodate all our children from the junior high schools. The problem is our parents and the students themselves prefer certain senior high schools that number almost about, let me say roughly about 100. So everybody wants to send their children into those schools. Our educational authorities have not been able to stamp their feet down and ensure that when the admission quota is exceeded, we do not admit students in those schools. And there are several schools looking for students in Form 1, and they just get a scanty few. If we have been able to evenly distribute our students in the senior high schools in this country, the overpopulated environment we find in other schools will be a thing of the past. That is one other problem. So when you have such high populations, I went to Pope John Secondary School, one of the best schools in this country currently. And I recall all our chop boxes were in the chop box room, and the room was opened at certain times of the day and closed. When you entered our dormitories, you could walk through the beds in the dormitories. In the morning, before you go out of the dormitory, every student is supposed to lay and dress his bed. Every student is supposed to lay and dress your bed. Today, go and see what is happening. The dormitories are overpopulated. You can hardly walk through the dormitories. It is a congested place. Some of the students are sleeping on the trunks. And then what type of education do you think we are giving to our children? So it's a myriad of multiple factors. And it is just the arrowhead that you saw in the video under discussion.
I see. But for you, the very first step that is necessary is to return the power of discipline back to the schools.
Absolutely.
But
return absolute power to the managers of the school and their teachers, so as to take ultimate disciplinary measures to curtail the misbehaviors that are going on. As a first step. You see, just as a first step. Yes. So you empower the headmasters, the headmistresses, that now any students who behaves beyond a certain threshold, you have the right to dismiss the student. And that's all. Then we can now go back and be looking at the other issues. There are some people who should not be present in the senior high schools by their behaviors.
they should not be.
They should not be there. Maybe they
Why?
are not
Because
cut out to be there.
because
For
most of
example,
the okay.
for example, when you find a student selling akwateshi in the dormitory, akwateshi
Students selling akwateshi.
in the dormitory, a student selling wee toffee, a student selling wee toffee. You know, so why should this student be in this?
Well, because you also have to protect. You know that their conduct may not be the best, but that's the essence of a school. That you train certain conducts out of them.
You realize your innocent son or daughter is an akwateshi addict or a wee addict. Like what happened at one of the schools in Western region. I don't want to mention the school, where the teachers were going through the box of a student, and then the teacher saw the toffees and thought it was this thing that we use coconut to do. So he was going to take one to put it. Then they just shouted, "Oh, sir, no, don't take it, sir, don't take it." Then the teacher said, "Why?" So, "No, sir, don't take it." And when they went to check, Charlie, the thing is wheat toffee. If the teacher had taken it, something else might have happened.
I see. So you're also suggesting that you regulate who comes into the school environment.
Yes, in the first, I think there should be a certain performance cutoff. There should be a performance expectation of a person who goes to a senior high school. You know, for example, so that if you want to go to a university in this country, they tell you that your academic level should be able to appreciate this and that and that and that. If you don't have it, you don't have it. If you don't have it, you don't have it. You know, so it is not. For example, someone goes to get F at the basic school. You said this person is not cut out for a senior high. How can someone in a senior high school, like the headmistress in Ahantamai was saying, that a student came to the school and cannot even write her name?
See,
how can you go to secondary school and you cannot write your name?
Well, Mr. Kabornu, there's a lot to talk about, but just to conclude with you, I'm wondering what you expect from the situation we have on our hand now.
All those students involved in that misbehavior and violence should be made to go home.
Should be made to go home as in dismissed?
Dismissed. Did you see the video? Let you go home.
But there should also be a worry about what happens to them subsequent to them being dismissed from school.
Which one is more dangerous? Allowing them to be in the school to inflict similar violence on their colleague students and taking them out of the schools to create a safe environment for teaching and learning. Which one do you prefer?
But can't you set a deterrent and still keep them in the schools to show them that if you try this again, this is what will happen to you?
Oh, these ones have gone beyond deterrent. I talking to you cannot see a fellow human being and jump to knock him out when the person was in a defenseless state. The boy was in a defenseless state. The boy was not fighting back. Look at what happened last 2 weeks at WAS. When students from Fakosh, in conjunction with some students from WAS, attacked and beat up a teacher. At WAS, just last 2 weeks, the video is viral. Let's look at what happened at Kede Senior High School, when students beat up their teacher with canes. They were remanded in prison custody for 2 weeks. And when they came back to court, they were charged for to pay 3,600. End of story. So you have a situation where critical situations need critical response. So that when after taking such drastic measures and the situation normalizes, then we can be talking about the prescriptions you are suggesting. But currently, the situation is in a critical situation and it needs drastic measures to normalize it.
Mr. Kabornu, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much, Senna. Have a wonderful day.
You too. You too. He's the former president of the national president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers. Join us on the line for him. The best way to do with this is dismiss the students involved.
Say mental free, menfa tough, you know, menfa tough, you know, and Kabornu say yes.
But why was he trying to? Oh, it doesn't know what.
Now teacher, who tough will be.
There you are coming to.
Hey, Nasani, you know, boy, Bibia no who abidi.
Well, if you don't disagree with Mr. Kabornu, what should happen to these students? Explain why. Why do you disagree with him? He has explained exactly why he thinks that is the step. In fact, when I was in school, I'm sure all of these people are going home. That's when I was in school. They all have gone home. Yes, they would have been sacked from the school. I had many people. I had a couple of colleagues in school who were actually dismissed from school.